Hi, this is Allison. I just wanted to pop on and make a few announcements and show you a few things that I got in the box last Friday and just let you all know I'm still here. Hope you're all still doing great. Miss ya. First thing is, if your shop is in Michigan, and I might share this on a different group, so for Michigan anyway, we've all been ordered to stay at home. And so when that happened, all of our accounts were put on hold. So your order may be sitting in the warehouse ready to go and it's still on hold. If you want that order or if you want all your orders, either way, let us know. Call me, call your rep, call customer service, and they can free up a particular order or they can free up your entire account to ship as normal. If you're shipping to somewhere other than the ship address that you normally ship to, we need to know that as well. Some people are having things shipped to their home. Some people are leaving the ship alone and they're going into the shop on a daily basis anyway. So let us know how it's working for you, and we'd be glad to make that open those products up for you guys to be receiving them. I sent an email out yesterday, the 30th of March, and it was called, the subject line was, "It's all about connection." And in that email, there are two links. The first one is the Checker Distributors Customer Exclusive Group. That's a mouthful. But what it is a Facebook group where all of the reps across the United States have invited their customers to join that group, and it's kind of a collaborative effort, posting things in that group so that you guys can keep up with what's coming out, products that are new. I don't know if I'll be sharing this video on that site or not. I'll let someone else decide that. But anyway, it's a bigger group than just the group that I've been putting together. I also have my Facebook group that I'm going to keep going, and that one's called Checker Allison Shop Owners Group, and it's referred to as my Facebook group in that email from yesterday called It's All About Connection. So get on those groups, see what's going on, stay connected, and it'd be really awesome if you post pictures of what you're doing, post ideas that will help, things that have helped your shop, things that could help another shop. Let's just get on there and share. Okay, so I'm just going to share a brief overview of what they sent me. And the first is a selection of Timeless Treasure. And these are selections that are going to be shipped between May and August, I believe. So some French Country. This is little snow gnomes. And I'm not going to go over these all individually. We can certainly do that over FaceTime or Zoom or however you want to do that. Or I might put separate videos together of some of the lines as I've done in the past. So then we also got Dear Stella. This is a card that shows their Moonscape blender. And they have some new colors that are coming out in May in addition to the colors they already had. And just lots of fun lines from Dear Stella. And then there's another in the Cycle line. This one's for corrections officers. So we've seen the ones for firemen, for police, the different organizations, nurses. But this one's for corrections officers, and that one is delivering in September. Okay, I also got a whole selection of patterns, and how I do it is put them into categories. So I got patterns for applique, I got patterns for just random quilt patterns, I got some that are pre-cut friendly, I got some wearables from a company called, let's see, what did I say that was? Friday Pattern Company. So if you want to go over any of those, I'd be happy to do that with you on an individual basis, or if I get enough requests for it, we'll do a whole video on patterns. And then if we look at some notions, I didn't get a lot this time, but a few things. This is from Layla Boutique. It's a little closed S-hook hanger, and They're suggesting it with their pattern, and I don't have the pattern, but I printed a copy off the website. I'll show you that in a second. But this is retails for $5. It's LB-CSHH1. Little closed S-hook hanger. And if you look at this pattern, you can see they're using at the top of this little organizer. Okay, a little travel organizer. And that organizer is pattern LB189, again from Leila Boutique. And it measures 12 by 26 when it's open and 8 3/4 by 12 when it's folded into thirds. So it might be kind of fun to get that done, and then when we can travel, we'll be all ready. That's the little closed S-hook. They also sent this little Clover Swift bead. It's 2 little needles in the package. It retails for $11.95. And what it's for, and this is for anybody who does anything with beads, I've threaded this end of the, it kind of looks like a needle threader, and I've got my thread on there. And this other end has a barb on it. I don't know if you can see, if I can get it to where you could see it. There's a little barb on it so that when I put this down into needles, it's going to pick them up and they won't fall off. So this is a package of beads that I just had in my craft supplies. So I'm just going to stick that Swift bead down into the container. Oh, I got one bead that time. You see it on there? We're just going to keep poking it. Oh, got a bunch that time. So if I just keep poking it, it picks up beads. And because it has that little barb on the end, try to steady it so you can see it, they don't fall back off again. Okay, and then this end, because it's wide there for you to thread it, sort of holds them on, and you could count how many beads you needed to put on your thread. So that is a seed Swift bead from Clover. It retails for $11.95, and you get two Swift bead needles in the package. Okay, put these beads away before I spill 1,000 beads all over my floor. Okay, the next one is, oh, and here's the little, maybe there's a close-up. There's where you're threading it. There's where you're dipping it down into the bead container. See that little hook on it? And then you pull up what you need. Okay. That was all that they sent me, but I ordered, and this is an oldie, but probably a goodie. Might be a good reminder for those of you who haven't ever gotten one of these. This is for gals like me that might have a little trouble seeing that needle and thread to try to thread. This is a Clover desk needle threader. It comes in 3 different colors. This pastel pink, there's a pastel purple, and a pastel green. You get them in a box of 3, and they each retail for $16.25. And in case you haven't seen one work, let's see if I can get set up to show you real quick here. It has a slot to cut the thread right here, and a slot where you put your thread across, and then there's a hole in the top where you're going to put the eye of your needle into that. So I just hope you can see that. If I back it up, turn this down a little. Okay, so I can take my thread, cut it on the cutter, and then lay it across the threader. And I tried this with a whole different group of needles, and it worked for most of them. So what I do is take the eye of the needle, put it in that little hole. Kind of reminds me of a stack on a train. And then you push the lever, and then when you pull the needle out, looky there, it's threaded. And that's a lot easier for me than getting out the magnifying glass and getting the light just right. So really handy little tool. Again, it's been around for a long time, but if you haven't seen one or haven't remembered them lately, that might be a good idea to think about, especially as people are really getting back into handwork these days. Okay, so then I just have a few books, and we'll call it an afternoon. The first one is a little pocket guide. It's written by our own Penny Herron, and it's just 101 tips and tricks, everything from organizing your sewing room to putting borders on to decorating, miscellaneous, choosing fabric. It's a nice little read, and I think most quilters are going to be able to pick up some great tips that they hadn't heard before, or they needed to be reminded about. So that's kind of a fun little pocket guidebook. The next one is called Hexagon Star Quilts, and this is 113 English paper pieced star patterns. There's a whole bunch of patterns at the back of the book to give you an idea of how to put those English paper pieces together, like what's on the cover. But it's a really awesome reference tool at the beginning to show you how you need to do everything, starch basting, fussy cutting, whether you're going to put these together with glue or if you're going to hand baste it, how to take care of those angled shapes and those little funny corners, whether you're going to hand piece it versus machine piece it. So it's really covering all the bases with English paper piecing, and then it has projects. So I'll do this. I don't know if you can see that. This one is applique on top of a background. But a nice, really complete, here's complete book for English paper piecing. This one they have taken vintage linens and combined that in with the project to do new fabric on top of vintage linens. And there's all your patterns in the back. So excellent English paper piecing reference book. And then this is Legends and Legacies. And if I remember right, there were 12 or 13 patterns in here, all shown with vintage type reproduction fabrics. Okay, that one's by Carol Hopkins. This one's called Acorn Cottage, and it has a lot of different projects. I think there were about 16 projects in here, and they're all just really soft colors. Shabby chic is what comes to my mind, but I'm not sure if they really classify this as shabby chic or not, but it's those really soft colors and low volume prints. And then here's one for fat quarters. We always get asked how to use fat quarters, and this is 2468 fat quarter quilts you'll appreciate. Get my cheerleader skirt on there. And every project shows you how many fat quarters they're using. And most of them will have a background fabric that you need as well to add to it. But you can start with 4 fat quarters and make this table runner. And they're showing you a part of it there. It's just a huge variety of projects. Here's one where they're actually using some wool or flannel. And this is N8 fat quarter project. This one's by Lisa Bonjean. They're all different designers that you'll recognize, like Brenda Riddle and Corey Yoder and Me and My Sister Designs and so forth. So it's a nice little book of projects featuring fat quarters. Then the last one is Rock That Quilt Block, and this book is all about quilts from this one block, the Country Crown block. And so at the beginning, it gives you all the supplies and information that you need. And basically all of the quilts are going to be made from this block, which is a paper pieced corner, a flying geese or snowballed corner unit, half square triangles, or a square and a square. And depending on how they put the fabrics together and how they sew those blocks, all the quilts look different. So the whole thing is not foundation paper pieced, but those corners are. And then the flying geese and the half square triangles are just standard construction. The half square triangles, they're using the method where you draw the line down the middle and then sew 1/4 of an inch on either side. So that would be great too. I don't have it handy right here, but the little Creative Grids, little seam tools that we just showed in the last video would be great for that style of half square triangle. I think that's about it. I told you about the Facebook groups. Great place to be connected right now. Told you about if your shop is on hold, let us know if you need an order released or if you want them all released, what the shipping address should be. That's about it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay well, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.